Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. The Chamber of Mines has stressed that the failure to modernise South Africa's mines will put a huge number of jobs at risk. Martin Creamer joins me in studio to discuss why modernisation of the country's gold and platinum mines will not only be a major boost for the South African economy. Hi Martin.
Hi Tracy.
So how will modernisation benefit South African mining?
You know, we mine so wastefully at the moment. You know, they estimate that when there's 100 grams of gold in the ground, only 25 grams reaches the surface. Because firstly, 40% is left behind in pillars. So you leave these pillars behind. When will you ever come back to them? So there are all sorts of sterilizations of gold and platinum because of the way we mine. The conventional way sort of results in it being uneconomical to mine. So you leave so much in the background that you'll probably never mine. So if you come up with a new way of doing things, which they're now thinking about all the time, and we've got the mining hub, and we've got a whole lot of manufacturers trying to manufacture a plant that will be able to deal with that, we could still, carry on mining here well into the second half of the century. But if we don't, already gold will start showing signs of serious decline before 2020, and it'll just die a death by 2033. So steps are very necessary to change the way we do things. We've been very labor intensive, for 100 years. We need to be people-centered, continue to be people-centered, but to reskill and do things differently, because we also can't afford people going to work to die the way that they do it in such large numbers. There's a lot of unpredictability because of the seismicity that's created. This is aggravated when you blast. So the new techniques they're looking at is to get away from the drill and blast and clean type of approach, which is a stop-start type of approach, and get into a continuous mining approach, so you can have rock around the clock, 24 hours a day and 7 days a week.
And the Chamber of Mines CSD van der Woude has come out and said that modernising today's mines will build the mines or ensure the mines of tomorrow. What is the thinking behind this?
What they want to do in parallel, because it's such an urgent situation, you've got to take urgent action, but you don't always get quick results. So what they're looking at is a 3-horizon approach, 3-time horizons. They want win-win action now, quick wins, so that you can do something with existing way of mining. All right, it's not ideal. It's got the situation of stop-start. It has a situation of wastefulness, etc. Take steps to reduce that as much as you can immediately. And we know there's certain select blasting techniques and a lot of things that they could do which they're not doing. But they will decide what can they do quickly so that they get a quick win now, so that you gain traction, you gain credibility, and you don't just say, oh, we're working on this. And then have a medium time horizon of 3 years to 5 years to really take significant steps of improving what we're doing now. You still haven't got to the final product. But parallel and starting now, at the same time as you get the quick wins, you start doing the fundamental research, so that, they've given themselves a decade, 10 years to come out with a continuous mining approach. That'll mean that people can go into the mine on an ongoing basis and not have to leave the mine when you blast, which is a situation where we're only working 260 days out of the 365 days. People go down there, they drill, they place the explosives in place. They've then got to leave the mine because it's too dangerous for them to stay during that blast period. And then people come after the blast and they clean up. And this cycle repeats itself. But the nature of it is very unproductive. And we are among the few people in the world that work like this. Everybody else is doing continuous mining, but they're not as deep as we are. And if we can reach a solution at depth, you can imagine all these other mines that are open cast mines today, but will be underground mines tomorrow. We will be able to sell them the solutions. And that's why the manufacturing is also beginning at this hub that they're creating in Carlo Road at Johannesburg. That used to be the old Chamber of Mines Research Organization. I used to go along there and interview people. It was quite fantastic because you'd have amazing research going on there. And a lot of that research is being used all around the world now. We've lost out on being the leaders, but we're not gaining research from other countries. They've gained our research. Then that, as a gesture of goodwill in 1994, the mine said we will hand that over to the CSIR, which is a state-owned organization. Let them carry on with it. They underfunded it seriously, to a point where last year it had a sign outside the building saying either rent or for sale or for rent. They were going to sell the property. Fortunately, sanity prevailed, and the state has said to the private sector, look, let's do this together. We try to do it, each one of us did it separately. Now let's try and do it as a public-private partnership and fund it much better, and also have a sort of a hub and spoke type approach, where you have a lean center, but all the operations being done in the spoke sections by a lot of organizations which have already set up and agreed to collaborate. That collaboration is important, so that you've got open sharing of research, so that can really help all those who take part to get a system going. We want a systematic approach in this 21st century to deal with mining in a way that we've neglected to do in the past. We had a lot of research going on, in the 70s. Then there was a lot of union activity, and I think people sort of thought, no, these jobs are very important to the transformation of South Africa, and they then stepped back on the research. And then in the mid-90s and late 90s, you'd hear about it again, that they were coming forward with solutions, but it was a piecemeal type of one piece of equipment that they would try out. Now they want to really look for a system rather than a single piece of equipment.
And how has the Chamber gone about ensuring or declaring that innovation is a main thrust?
Well, firstly, they've emphasized it. They've said this is a strategy of the Chamber. All our members must see this as a strategy. So they have pronounced that they must look to innovation, whereas mines in the past have been terribly slow to adopt any change. They didn't like a changing of the way they did things. That was a method that they employed, and despite all the risks and the number of people that died, they were resistant to change, which is actually very bad. It's been very bad for the country. Now the Chamber is saying, no, you must change. And already you can see the influence of that on investment. The investments, we're hearing of hundreds of millions of rands being pledged for investment, because if they're going to rely on overseas companies to try and solve this, it's going to cost a fortune. If they can do the costing in rands, it's going to be a different story. At the same time, it could help our industrialization. We need this industrialization and manufacturing to be revived. This could be a way of reviving it in the mining sector and then putting it also into the broader sectors. So it's a very important initiative from a South African point of view. And now being backed at the Pakisa, the mining Pakisa, where so many people sat for so many weeks to try and work out South Africa's mining problems, they've come to the conclusion that they must revive this manufacturing hub, this mining hub in Carlo Road, and involve the private sector to be able to do a lot of their research and development work on those premises for everybody to see, so that that creates a situation that speeds up, the whole solution. And if they do arrive at a solution, they know that the export market is waiting out there, because there's going to be depth all over the continent, all over the world. And, we will know how to deal with it, particularly with hard rock, because these are solutions they're looking for. Initially, it's for the hard rock mines, the gold mines, the platinum mines, the chrome mines. And, this is the way to arrive at a solution, especially trying to get the quick wins as well. So it gives you that credibility, and then move into second gear and third gear. And fourth gear will be the solution being marketed throughout the world. And we know other countries have done that. When their mining is depleted, they've still had a lot of mining-related business that they could export. But in actual fact, we've still got a lot of platinum in the ground, and there's still a lot of opportunity in mining with gold. So those two precious metals, if they are revived in the right way, could earn South Africa a lot of money in foreign exchange. We need that at the moment. It could also spawn jobs into the industrial and manufacturing sectors, and we need those as well.
Thanks, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Tracy.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on the South African mining industry.